Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 072 of the WA Running Podcast, as Chris and I record on Monday the 31st of March 2025. This week we cover results from the final Strive program of the season, Program D, where we cover the 800 metres and the 5,000, as well as results from the Xterra Asia Pacific Championships, the Collie Trail Fest, and was there another race? I'm trying to remember.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out later this episode. Chris and I will then preview the upcoming Bridges Fun Run, which is on this Sunday, April 6th, where we maybe do another Bix bet in terms of the winners in store later. Or money. Okay, we'll find out. We also have some Simon Says, where we talk whispers of the WA running community before recapping this week's Weapons of War. Now, across my screen was meant to be two co-hosts with me, but unfortunately Jack Sirett had some tech issues, so it's just going to be my usual partner in crime, someone who in the last week did 145 Ks, which now makes that the biggest week that he's ever run. Chris the Metronome Shaw, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm very disappointed that Jack couldn't join us, but you know, as we speak, he's still typing in the chat on the record. So he's providing us with a few insights into his predictions for Bridges next week. So that's very, very good. Thanks for that, Jack, and look forward to potentially interviewing him later in the week. My 145k week, yes, I'm very glad to have had a rest day on this Monday, Simon. So yeah, not sure how sustainable that kind of mileage is long term.
I mean, 145 Ks for this Bunbury half build. What's Gold Coast going to look like?
This was kind of the test, I suppose you could say. Yep. So I would just like to see how far I could push my body before I actually get there. And I think my goal for the build will be to try and maintain 145 Ks a week. Look, I'm going to have a couple of down weeks in there, of course. So yeah, there can't be all 145 Ks, but I'm hoping to get 7-ish weeks, I think, at 145.
I look forward to your weekly mileage in a couple of weeks' time when the marathon build really starts. All right. So what was the key sesh this week?
I had a 5x2 kilometer, like a progressive session on Thursday down at Gallup with you and Smirilli. You guys had done one of Tina's sessions, but I thought I'd split off and try and do something that's a bit more half marathon specific. So kind of the goal was to start at half marathon pace and then trying to wind it up to something around 10k pace. Or just above threshold, but it turned out I ran my first rep a little bit too quickly, and that set the precedent for the rest of the workout. So I figured I can't slow down now. I just got to keep going with it, and ended up finishing up around where my goal 10k pace is. So besides the last one, I think the rest of them felt quite comfortable. So pretty happy with that session.
Pulled that off really well, and then you followed that up with, what was it, a 33k run on Sunday? Is that right?
Yeah, 34 Ks. I think my watch read 35, but I did some squiggly lines through the bush there somewhere, so I'm not sure what happened. But went out there with Ordwin on Sunday, and then I think about 2 hours later followed it up with a 5 kilometre run around Bibra Lake with Henry. So that might explain why my legs are a little sore this morning. But a good week for sure. How about you, mate?
Excellent. So another 100k week in the bag, which I'm very happy about. So the big sesh for me this week was the tempo session on Saturday. That was 2 by 25 minutes at tempo effort with 2 minutes jog recovery. So decided to head down to Scarborough to meet up with the team to do that, because there ain't no way I was going to do that by myself down Lenore Road on a Saturday morning. So very glad to have done that with the group. So it was a good turnout, and I was able to run that with Liam Sherwood, who we sometimes see at Gallup Reserve on a Thursday morning. So yeah, he and I are roughly around the same fitness level. Yeah, pretty happy with it. Pulled that off really well. First 25-minute rep was bang on 4 minutes, or just a touch under actually. It might have been 358s, 359s. And we were talking before the session, and his game plan was to do the second rep a bit faster, maybe 355s. And I had said, oh, look, that might be a bit of a stretch for me, with tired legs and such. Anyway, we did the first rep in 358s or 359s. And then when we finished our jog recovery and turned back around, he decided to run a 340 something effort the first K, and that forced me to try and chase him. So my second rep ended up being 350 average, which
Nice.
very happy with that. He must have done 347s or 346s, so really quick there, and pretty happy with it. What a difference running with people makes. So
100%.
pretty happy with that. I did feel a bit tired Sunday morning, whether it was the humidity or the lack of sleep, because we had those thunderstorms on that Saturday night, so I didn't sleep very well. Felt a bit silly running with a hydration vest for a 2-hour run, but turns out I really needed it because my shirt was drenched. I smashed both 500 mils of Bix concentrate, and I was pretty cooked yesterday. So 102 Ks in the bank, and I went for a run this morning. I think I did about 11 Ks, so takes me to 453 Ks for March, which is actually my second biggest month of running ever from a mileage point of view.
Nice.
So same time last year I did 470 Ks, but that was training for Bunbury Marathon. So feeling pretty fit actually. So I'm pretty happy with that in terms of the tempo sessions and even the intervals that we're doing on a Thursday. I'm feeling fit there. So my marathon block doesn't technically start until after the Bunbury Running Festival. And having a quick chat with Tina on Saturday, I think we're going to try and aim for 4 weeks of 130 Ks during the build itself and see where that takes us. So just seeing some of the guys training for Ballarat or Boston, they do follow a very similar pattern to everyone else, with the exception that perhaps the Wednesday long run or the Wednesday midweek long run is a little bit longer, and the Sunday long run goes up to 3 hours 15 following a tempo session. So it's going to be a pretty heavy weekends in the lead up to Gold Coast. So
is that the 130K mark that everyone's following? Is that generally for around the same finish time that you're chasing in the marathon?
I think it's for everyone, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
Actually,
interesting.
we are. It really depends on the individual, to be honest. Some people can handle the mileage, and I actually don't know how much Ben Tay is doing, but I have a feeling it's probably roughly around 130. And Ashley, who's probably aiming a 310, is about the same. So
interesting.
So I mean, to be honest, I think it depends on the individual. I think,
of course,
yeah. But it'll be interesting because I've never done 3 workouts in a week with that mileage, so we'll see how the legs handle it.
Well, I mean, it probably explains why you are feeling more tired on a Sunday, than you would have done when you had in your last year's Bunbury build, for sure. Doing tempos at between 4 and 350s seems like it's setting you up for a pretty good base going into the marathon block, for sure.
Yeah. So this week, while everyone's doing bridges, I've got the 5K time trial. So we'll see if I do a sneaky sub 18 attempt at a park run somewhere. How about yourself? What do you got planned later this week?
So it's a bit of a taper week this week, but I'm going to run bridges with Henry, actually. No cheeky time trials for me this week. I did intend, if he wasn't going to run with me, I thought maybe I'd have a go at the 5K at bridges and beat a bunch of 10-year-olds, but I'll leave that to Tom Tej this week, I think.
So you're going to do your long run on Saturday then?
Well, I might do it early Sunday morning, pre bridges, but we'll see I think it'll depend what my Thursday and Friday look like. So I think if I don't end up doing my workout Thursday and I end up doing it Friday, I'll do my long run on Sunday. So, but if I do my workout Thursday, then I'll do my long run Saturday. It'll just depend.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, let's get straight into results. So we've got the last Strive program of the season, Program D, on Friday night, the 28th. I think it was still 30 degrees by the time a lot of the races had started. So we'll start with the 800 meters. Did you want to cover the Strive program?
Yeah, I will. So the 800 meters, the women's was won by Billy Richardson in a time of 2:07.98. For context, that's 2 minutes 38 per kilometre, Simon. So I don't know how you feel about that. But coming in second was Jasmine Pugh in a 2:08.82. 2:19.66. And then friend of the show, Hannah Doyle, coming in third in 2 minutes, 10 seconds. And a shout out to, again, Charlotte Pickering running another 800 or another track PB, an 800 meter PB of 2 minutes, 30 seconds there. So congratulations, Charlotte. I think she's running the 10K this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Her name might pop up a little later in the preview for Bridges, but
Definitely.
we look forward to that. In the 800 meters for the men's, we had Tom Moorcroft winning in 1:52.28. Now that is 2 minutes 20 per kilometre. So I'm not sure I can do that for a couple of 100 meters, let alone 800. So yeah, pretty wild. Adam Kopp coming in second in 1:52.83. So very close behind Tom Moorcroft there. And then Jonah Hanakiri coming in third in 1:53.04. So pretty tight top three all up. In the 5,000 now, Aths West did have a few issues with their live results page, so we had to go to some on-field correspondence this week, and our friend of the show, Carlos Aquino, was friendly enough to give us the down low. So we had Matt Smith winning that 5,000 metres in 14 minutes 30 seconds, followed by Josh Nivort in 15:07, and then Carlos himself coming in third in 15:26. I know that Carlos had been experimenting with the bicarb a little bit in recent weeks, and it looks like he's got imported some stuff from the UK that comes in a kind of a powder, but then you mix it with water, it becomes very gelatinous, and you have to. And apparently, it tasted like absolute garbage. So I hope it was worth it, Carlos. And then we did have one female running the 5,000. We had Sarah Knox. Now, we don't know what time she finished in because her Strava's locked down and there was no results on the page, but we do know that her PB is 17 minutes and 21 seconds from earlier in Feb this year. So congrats, Sarah, in winning in the field of one. That's great.
Congratulations, Sarah. Now, did Carlos say anything about whether or not that bicarb mixture resulted in any stomach issues, or was it a success?
No, I don't think he had any trips to the toilet out of that, but I think that he just complained about the taste. So I think what Carlos shared with me a little while ago was this product that you can buy from the chemist called Sodibic, which is just a tabletized form of the bicarb soda that you buy from the shops, basically. So you can ingest it without it kind of breaking down in your mouth. It breaks down in your stomach and then goes into your bloodstream. So effectively, I went out and bought some of this Sodibic a couple of weeks ago and thought I might try it ahead of that Canning River Running Festival, but decided not to in fear of me, with my history of toilet problems. I did not want to have that go wrong on the Sunday, so I might save that for a park run sometime. But it seems like Carlos has moved on from the tablets and into the gel stuff, so a little bit more advanced and potentially a little bit heavy. His wallet's probably a little bit lighter on behalf of that too.
We'll look forward to Carlos's times as a result of that. All right, let's move on to the Xterra Asia Pacific Champs. That was also on the weekend. I think that was down at Dunsborough over the weekend. So we'll start with the trail marathon of 38 kilometers. So I don't know how that works as a marathon distance, but that's fine. So we'll go through the men's results first. So that was won by a Danish person by the name of Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen. That's a mouthful of a name. He won that in a time of 2 hours, 51 minutes and 22 seconds. Coming second is Tom Fisher in a time of 2:51.56, so close finish there. And Ben Leeson in a time of 2 hours, 55 minutes and 29 seconds. In the women's trail marathon race, that was won by a familiar name that we always butcher on the WA Running Podcast, Petra Georgian, in the time of 3 hours, 33 and 17 seconds. Coming second is Maluka Bancroft in a time of 3 hours, 37. And coming third, I'm going to say this is a spelling error, but we think it's R.E. Houston, who came third in a time of 3 hours, 43 and 22 seconds. In the trail half marathon, which was 21 Ks, so that in the men's, it was won by Stu Caulfield in a time of 1 hour, 28 minutes and 47 seconds. He was rocking the VB shirt, and I think from Alice's Instagram page, it seems like Stu is looking for a beer sponsorship. So whether it's VB, whether it's Swan Drought, he's looking for free beers. So congrats, Stu, there for taking the win. Pierce 007 Bresman coming second in a time of 1 hour 30 and 9 seconds. And coming third is Andre Pierna in a time of 1 hour 37.56. In the women's race, there was a bit of concern earlier, well, last week's ep when we were seeing Kate Baker on the elliptical, but she's gone down and she's taken the win in the half marathon. So she's won that in a time of 1 hour 30.36, rocking the Mizuno Wave Riders. Coming second was Lauren Lander in a time of 1 hour 50 and 11 seconds, and Tony Lander coming third in a time of 1 hour 51.38. And finally, in the trail 10K, in the men's, that was taken out by Kaylin Bennett, also a name that we say a lot in the WA Running Podcast, in a time of 45 minutes and 17 seconds. Jack Judges coming second in 54 minutes and 9 seconds, and Bailey Slopper in a time of 55 minutes and 35 seconds. In the women's, that was taken out by Ariane King in a time of 58 minutes and 46 seconds. Emma Judges in 58 minutes 47, and Tibby Tuckett in a time of 59 minutes and 25 seconds. Let's move on to the Collie Trail Fest.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to zoom into these results, Simon, so I can read them. But no, I'm just kidding. So unfortunately, on the weekend, the double black, the marathon was cancelled or amalgamated into the black course due to the weather conditions on the weekend, because I think both days it was in excess of 30 degrees or closer to 30, 35. So we'll start with the 5K. In the men's, in the men's 5K, we had Jackson Gardner in a time of 29.49, followed by Corey McLeese in a time of 29.25, and Christian Mann in a time of 32 minutes flat. In the women's 5K, we had Linda Dunlop in 27.34, followed by Piper White in 29.27, and finally coming third was Rachel Wright in a time of 31.05. The blue course, we had the 10K. The men's was won by John Neville in 49 minutes 25 seconds, followed by Adam Pryor in 50 minutes dead flat, 0.0. And then another name we say on the podcast frequently, one of the McSwain brothers, Dane McSwain, in a time of 50 minutes and 30 seconds. The women's 10K was won by Katie Graham in a time of 56.32, followed by Sandra Sivior in a time of 1 hour, 3 minutes and 1 second. And coming third was Heidi Pierce in a time of 1 hour, 5 minutes, 18 seconds. The black race, the half marathon, in the men's, we had Patrick Millington winning in 1 hour, 43 minutes, 4 seconds, followed by Isaiah Bell in 1 hour, 54 minutes, 34 seconds, and Conrad Kluwer in a time of 2 hours, 7 minutes and 18 seconds. And finally, the women's race was won by Carolyn Fenton in a time of 2 hours, 15 minutes, 42 seconds, followed by Manon Martelli in 2 hours, 19 and 45 seconds. And coming in third was Anna Davey in 2 hours, 26 minutes, 50 seconds. We had a couple of other little, interstate results last weekend from some notable WA athletes. Perhaps you'd like to talk about the Box Hill Classic, Simon.
Yeah, so the Box Hill Classic was on Thursday evening, and we had the men's 1500A race. So Max Shervo continuing his reign of terror on the track, taking the win in 3 minutes 42.69. I think edging out Adam Goddard there in a very close race there. And Shervo then backed that up over the weekend in pacing the Maury Plant meet in the 5,000 meters. So got a bit of airtime on Channel 7. I wonder whether he'll race it next year.
Yeah, he'll be up there definitely in contention. He's kind of our premier, or he's our state champion in 4 distances this year. So we'd expect that he'd probably be in the nationals or something.
Yeah, take your pick, Max. All right, and then finally we had the Kunyani Mountain Run over in Tasmania. So we had Claire O'Brien-Smith repping WA in the 66K Solo Ultra, coming third in the female race in a time of 9 hours, 10 minutes, 54 seconds, and 15th overall. It's the second time racing this event, and I think she did 9 hours, 9 minutes last year, so very close from last year's time. So congrats,
Mm.
Claire, in podiuming that event. Let's move over to the Bridges Fun Run preview. So that's on this Sunday, the 6th of April. We've got the 10K, 5K, and the Kids Dash. The 10K starting at 8:20 a.m. So that's late for us uncles. We usually get our long runs done by then. Before the 5K starts at 8:35. All right, so we've been sent the start list over the weekend, so we've got a couple of names in both the men's and women's in the 10K. We'll start with you, Chris. What are some of the names to look out for?
Well, I guess before I do go into the names, I would like to thank both Jack Sirett, unfortunate missing guest of this podcast, but also our foreign correspondent, Kat Watt, for giving us a little bit of insight into some of the women's side of the race. Thank you guys for that. So we do have a few names here and a few familiar ones. So there is probably a handful, probably I guess 3 or 4 in the men's race that we think could potentially take the win here. Without going into all of them, I will look. There's one I'm going to pull out of the hat, and it's going to be Zane Walsh to take out the 45 to 49 age category.
The much anticipated 45 to 49 age category.
Definitely. I think Zane, our good friend Zane, is going to probably run close to 30 minutes or under there.
30? That's
30,
quick.
38, sorry, 38. Yeah. If he's running 30 minutes, he's probably taking the win.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, no, Zane's been training very well for Ballarat. So looking forward to seeing what he does there. Also training, I think, for Bibra Lake Marathon is Lucas Coe. Now, Lucas has been running very well of late, consistently, and has represented WA at Sydney Marathon last year. And is probably looking for a sub 35 in this race. But at the very top, I think we should expect to see. Look, I won't name everyone, but look, I reckon our mate Dean Menzies, Simon. I think he's our golden child at the moment, and he's probably older than you, but younger than me. I think Dean's probably has to be up there in terms of his PBs. I'm not sure what the others have, but Dean's is almost sub 30. So if Dean's feeling like actually turning on the jets, I think this weekend could be a win for him.
It'll be interesting to see how he races, actually, because he's got Ballarat later in April, and there are whispers that he may have snagged himself a Bunbury half entry, which is the following Sunday. So I think the original plan was always Bridges to race, but whether or not he's racing Bunbury or Bridges, we'll see. All right, so the other names on the list that we had was Nick Thompson, who ran a 31:38 last year, just behind Smithy. I'd say that depending on how his training has been, he's probably up there with Dean. We also have a fellow podcaster in Ryan Greenwood, also training for Ballarat with Dean. Probably up there. He's run a 31:24 at last year's Lakeside 10K. So yeah, we'll see how he shapes up. He probably had a bit of a niggle concern in the last week, according to the pod. So we'll see how he pulls up for Bridges. We've got fellow Let's Cook run team member Nick John Ireland. Depending on his fitness, will be up there. We're thinking sub 33, I think is the latest word, but he has a PB of 31:51 back in 2019. So definitely up there in the pointy end of the men's race. It wouldn't be a WA event without Carlos Aquino being up there. I think, when we were doing the research, we forget that he's technically our state 10,000 meter track champ, running a 32:01 back in November last year. I think when we first took over the reins of the podcast. So Carlos has been training well. See how we go this Sunday. And I guess we have to mention Jack Sirett. I think we had him down as potentially a sub 33 chance. We'll see how he pulls up, and hopefully we get to have an interview with him later this week before Sunday's race. What about the women's race, Chris?
A few, definite contenders here. We did mention Charlotte Pickering at the start of the episode. So I think Charlotte has a PB of kind of 39 high, but has been running well. So looking to maybe go under that 39 mark. We'll see Don't want to put pressure on you, Charlotte, but everyone's watching. Um, no, but in kind of toward the top end, I think, where there's the likes of Brittany Moore. She ran a 37:31 in last year's Frio Running Festival, and just over a month ago ran a 17:39 on the track in the 5,000. And I think between, there's probably, we've got three names here we see to being the top contenders. We've got Lauren French from Team Tina, of course. She ran 37:40 at Matilda Bay on a very hot day earlier this year. I'm not actually sure of Lauren's PB, but I would expect that it's probably below 37 somewhere.
Yeah, I think she ran 36:34 at last year's Bridges.
Yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, significantly quicker. And then Natalie Pond is on the list here. Ran 123 or under 123 at Murakami recently, and ran 18:33 in the 5,000 just over a month ago. So probably up there as the top three contenders, but there are a few on the periphery. Simon, maybe you could run through those.
Yep. So we have Rebecca Bolster. So she won Busso 10K earlier this year at a time of 37:11. Now, granted, it's probably not 10 kilometers at Busso because they don't measure the course, but still very quick there. So I think she's within a chance of podiuming or potentially taking the win on a good day. We had Raquel Casas-Huelen, who ran 1 hour 23:50 at Joondalup last year, and ran 38 minutes 53 at Shelley also last year. So she's a cyclist, but is very quick on the roads there. So I reckon she'll be in the pointy end as well. We mentioned Charlotte. I think if we're looking at Team Tina, we've got Lisa Tyak. So she's a sub 40 10K runner. So she'll be up there in the top 10. And finally, we've got Savannah Rayner. Now, she's technically not raced a 10K before, but is in pretty good shape, actually. So she'll be top 10 for sure in the women's race. We did have Sinead originally doing Bridges, but unfortunately she's succumbed to injuries, and will be out of this Sunday's race. I think if Sinead was racing, she was looking pretty good in training early this year. She probably would have taken out the win.
I probably went premature on the tips, Simon. But did you have anyone you wanted to pick from that women's race?
So I am going to be very biased and say that Loz French is going to smoke everyone and take out the win. And I think so. I've got her as first, and then I've got Brittany Moore second, and Rebecca Bolster as third. How about yourself?
Yeah, I had the same top three. Look, I think that potentially we'll see Lauren French come in first. It just depends. Sometimes Loz goes to these events and just runs a tempo, and so she's not always out to take the win. But I think Loz will take the win this weekend. It's a good opportunity to take the 10K state champs on the road. So I'm sure that'll going to get her up and about. But I think, potentially we'll see. I'm going to say we're going to have Rebecca Bolster in second, and then Brittany Moore coming in third. So same three, but maybe just switched around a little bit there. How about the men's race?
I think Nick Thompson goes for the win. Mm-hmm. Followed by Dean Menzies, because I think he's going to take Bunbury Half more seriously. And Ryan Greenwood taking out third place. How about yourself?
I think that Dean won't take Bunbury all that seriously next week. I think he's out there to have a bit of a jog, but potentially do it as a marathon specific thing or something that's kind of thresholdy for him. I reckon Dean will take the W. I think Nick will be in second, but coming in third of that lot, I'm going to say Carlos.
Oof. Interesting.
Carlos has been training with Rams. I think that with a good couple of blokes to chase, such as Dean and Nick, that he could run under 32 minutes. And I'm going to call Carlos for a big PB on Sunday for sure.
He's going to load up on the bicarb.
Well, if you drink, keep eating lots and lots of it, you'll never feel any lactate at all. So
interesting, very good, very good. And I know we wanted to try and recap or preview the 5K, but I think it's anyone's race, the 5K, both the women's and men's. I know we mentioned that Tom Tedge is racing 5K. I think he's going to beat a bunch of 10-year-olds and take the win, I think.
Yeah, he's trying to copy us and beat children. So, Tom, look, if it's a comeback story and this is how you have to do it, by all means, go for it, mate.
Sounds
No matter
good.
what Dan Bowbridge says.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so those are our tips for this Sunday's race. Are we going to put money on it?
Nah, we'll put Bix on it.
Okay.
Enough Bix to sustain a Sunday long run. How's that? How many? I was going to ask you earlier. Actually, you said you over concentrated the Bix in the bottles. Did you actually have any gels, or was it all carb mix?
I had 2 gels and put in 4 scoops of Bix across
All right.
to 500 mils.
Well, that's the bet. 4 scoops and 2 gels.
4 scoops and 2 gels. Done. All right. So what do we say? We're saying, because you're saying that Dean's going to take the win. I've got Nick Thompson.
Yeah.
And we're kind of dead even with Loz taking out the women. So it's really down to the men's.
It's down to the men's and whoever comes second in the women's, I reckon.
Because you've said, who did you say?
I said Beck, and you said Brittany, I think. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I messaged Brittany over Strava, and she's got a niggle coming into it. So I was hoping that you weren't going to pick Brittany. Fuck. Get better, Brittany.
Leave Brittany alone.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our Bridges recap. So really, Bridges preview. Sorry. So we'll look forward to recapping in next week's episode. All right. Let's move on to upcoming events.
Yep. We've got the Swan River Half the day before, actually. We've got the half marathon 10K and 5K. That's sold out and registrations are closed. They do not have a wait list. So I looked at that this morning, actually. I thought, you know what, I might go down for a long run on Saturday morning, maybe have a good little run at the Swan River Half. But a week out, that's not possible. So good luck to everyone racing that on the weekend. We've obviously got the Bridges on the 6th. We've got the Running Works 3 Valleys Ultra also on Sunday. There's a 10K, a 25K, and a 50K solo/relay there. Chris and Curtis were kind of, talking a lot about this race in our interview with them a few weeks ago. And it's probably one of the more beautiful trails that Perth has to offer. So if anyone's out there or looking for a run this weekend out on the trails, go and check it out. We've got Delirious West coming up. It starts on the 9th of April to Sunday, the 13th. So that's a couple of weeks away. There's a 200 miler, a 100 miler there. I believe Coach Mack is going out there for the 100 miler course record. He's put off his Bibbulmun track FKT attempt for this race. So be interesting to see how all the speed work over the summer and the long runs convert to the 100-mile distance. Finally, we've got the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival coming up on the 13th of April, which culminates our training series we're recording on Wednesday night, so we'll find out how our athletes are going. Very excited for this. Are you intending to? I know you were intending to just run that as a jog and maybe pace a friend of ours, but are you going to turn up next week and just have a dip?
Interesting. Well, it is our friend Brendan's birthday. I mean, it'd be such a dog act to just race it.
Yeah.
No, I think I'll jog it. I'll jog it at this stage.
Yeah, nice. That's nice for Brendan to say that you're jogging it, and he's probably running it all out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Brendan. No, one thing you mentioned, or we saw during the week actually, was that our new logo is featuring on the Bunbury Runners Club website as a sponsor of the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival. So you posted a little story during the week that said, "Mama, we made it." So look, things are looking up, mate.
Yeah. Paid no money for that logo to be on the website, so I'm very happy to it.
Time is money, though, Simon. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, looking forward to it. I mean, I think they've sold out all their distances, right? Just the 5Ks remaining. So it's looking to be a very big event. We've got some big dogs from Perth coming down to race. We've seen Sarah Greenwood doing the finishing touches to her marathon build. I think we heard in the last week that Adam Lamb, who took out the Canning River Half, is doing the marathon. So we should have a very interesting men's marathon race in Adam Lamb and Carlos, who is thinking of doing Bunbury Marathon. I don't know if he's confirmed yet.
No,
And
he's definitely doing it. Yep.
beautiful. And then Bunbury Half, I think Dean Menzies may have snagged himself a ticket. So we'll see whether or not Dean takes it seriously or not. But some very quick runners in both the marathon, half marathon distances.
I reckon Matt Smarilli's probably going to be a little bit upset with Dean because he's probably taken his winning bonus.
Oh well, there may there may be a chance that Matt Smerley might finally come on as a guest host, though.
Yeah,
So
that'd be good.
if there's any consolation, there's that.
Yeah, it'll be good to put a voice to a name for the listeners. So, look, let's move on. I've been talking nonsense for a little while. Now, we had a community run in the week just gone with the guys at the running centre, which was awesome. We had Brooks down there providing shoes. We had Bix providing the hydration. So Smithy was there on behalf of Vlad. I think the numbers we had on this run on Wednesday evening were bigger than the run that we had the month or two beforehand. We got up and we had an opportunity to address the crowd this time, which was great. Don't know if what I said made sense up there, standing on the treadmill, but when you've got 40 or 50 people looking at you and you don't like public speaking, I'm sure that, it was probably drivel. But no, it was awesome to see so many people out there, a lot of smiles, not as many bright yellow Bix hats this time, but yeah, it was a bloody warm night, and so grateful for everyone who came down and supported us and the running centre. It's good to see. But on that topic, we've got our next community run 005. You and I, our fourth one organising this, coming up on the 11th of April. So that's 2 nights before the Bunbury Running Festival next week. We're intending this to be a little bit of a sundowner, so an opportunity for everyone to come down for a jog, have a drink and a feed afterwards, and carb load for their races on the Saturday. If you're doing actually, no, that's this week. I'll forget about that. The carb load for the Sunday if you're doing the marathon or the half marathon. So there'll probably be a 5 kilometre love run as there was last week, which is a pace and a distance that's suitable for everyone. There'll be a 6 kilometre run through Kings Park, and then a 10 kilometre run, which by all accounts, we were intending this to, well, we had hoped that this would be around 4:50 or 5-minute pace, but I think it was closer to 4:30 pace when we did it last Wednesday. So it was a few tired legs on Thursday morning, but there's an option there for everyone, looking forward to that. To taking part in that again with Raf and Sam down there at the running centre.
And yeah, for that particular run, we're partnering with ASICS, which is very exciting as well. So ASICS will be there providing a wear test of their latest shoes, and yeah, looking forward to seeing everyone there. It was a huge surprise seeing so many numbers on a 35-degree afternoon. So I'm really appreciative of everyone that came down that afternoon, because I don't think I was expecting that many numbers on a Wednesday afternoon. So yeah, very grateful for that. All right, let's move on to our Simon Says segment. And there's just one for me this week, which is during Community Run 004, we were speaking to someone about a potential HBF shake and bake shakeout run for HBF. So look, early preliminary chat so far, but Community Run 006 looks to be in the works for Wednesday, the 21st of May, which is the Wednesday before the HBF Run for a Reason event on the 25th of May. So keep a lookout. Looks like we've got some back-to-back community runs in a short period of time. So now that a lot of the races are up and about over the next couple of months, it's a good opportunity to get those community runs in. So yeah, watch this space. Another community run in store for late May. Let's move to our weird and wonderful weapons of warp.
Yeah, so we've got a couple here, actually. We've got Jack Sirett's nomination. We'll start with that because Jack's unfortunately not with us on the recording tonight. But look, Liam Kamudu went for a 1.13 kilometre warm-up on the way to the gym up in Bali this morning, and he did that at 3 minutes 35 per kilometre, presumably because he was running away from wild dogs because they had that look in their eye, as he said. So unfortunately not a Strava course PB for Liam there. Someone's actually run it in 3:04 per kilometre, so maybe next time, Liam. talking about Liam, he is running the bridges this weekend, I believe, if he's back from Bali. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes coming back from injury. A couple of other mentions here is James Collins. Now, James is on a 3-hour. He's on a journey to do the 3-hour marathon at Bunbury Running Festival, but has been running some pretty high mileage of late. He's got a YouTube channel for anyone that's interested. I will probably have to put that in the show notes because I don't remember it off the top.
Jimmy Runs?
Jimmy Runs, you're correct, yes. So Jimmy he's been running 160 kilometers a week for the past, close to 160 kilometers a week for the past, 5 or 6 weeks, and has unfortunately come up with a bit of an injury leading into the race. Now, his weapon nomination comes because he did 3-hour long run on the weekend, not because of his injury, but because he was doing it on the spot in the pool looking at a wall. So, Jimmy, you've obviously got a mindset like no other, and hopefully you're healing up well, and you'll be on the start line in a couple of weeks' time. Now, avid listener and friend of the show, Charles Bosveld. Charles ran 42 kilometres worth of 1.3 kilometre loop, training for Delirious West 200 miler. He did that up Golden Bay's ladder stairs, 1,385 metres worth of climbing in 6 hours. Now, just when you thought he was crazy, the next day he went out to do another loop. So that's some pretty remarkable stuff there from Charles. Definitely worthy of this week's weapon of warp.
Excellent. I think that's it for us this week in this episode of the WA Running Podcast. You can reach out to us on Instagram at WA Running Pod. Our email address is warunningpodcast@gmail.com. And our Strava group is Warp. Thanks for joining us on this week, and we'll catch you next week.
See you guys. Bye, I'm Jack.